everybody. It is indeed an exciting time for us right now and time to look forward to it. We're really glad to welcome Connor and his family to our organization. The world today is just not allowing them to get here, and that is a little bit frustrating for everybody, but clearly this is a great way to do it. He's so well deserving of the first overall pick, and we're so thrilled to have him. So welcome, Connor.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
And maybe, Connor, we could just start it off with, what this day means to you to sign and be a member of this franchise.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a dream come true. Younger, growing up watching the WHL, always had dreams of playing there and getting the chance to be with the oldest organization in the league and such a great organization. I'm obviously couldn't be happier, and I'm very excited to get started.
We're going to go to Derek Taylor. Derek, go ahead.
Connor, most of us haven't seen you play. What type of player do you think you are? Perhaps who do you model your game after?
I mean, I don't think I model my game after. I watch a lot of hockey, obviously, and I try to pick things from different players, I think. I have a pretty good 200-foot center, and obviously where I'm best is in the offensive end. And, hard worker, and I like to think I can produce pretty well, but obviously next step is going to be tough, so I'm just going to work as hard as I can and next year play as hard as I'm able to.
Perfect. Thanks, Connor. Thanks, Derek. We'll send it over to Claire Hanna now. Claire, you have a question?
And I'm sorry, I couldn't find the little wave thing, but I've got two quick questions for you, Connor. Claire Hanna from CTV here. First question is, you've been used to playing with older players for a while now, I know in West Van. What do you think you've learned from that, because you're going to be playing with older players and against older players next year? And then my second question is, why do you wear the number 98?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think I've played against older players since I started, just for a real challenge. Obviously this year, this is my first time playing against the O2s, so that was obviously a good challenge. At first, obviously getting used to the league, took a few games definitely to get kind of used to it, and I think it was a really good challenge and really helped me as a player. And I wear 98 when I was, 7, I think. I got asked what number I want in spring hockey, and no one had it in the NHL at the time. I thought it was a pretty cool number, so I just kind of went with it.
Perfect. Thanks, Connor. Thanks, Claire. We'll send it over to Greg Harder. Greg, you've got a question? Go ahead.
Hey, congratulations, Connor. Just a quick question for you. The draft is always a really big deal, and it's a big deal to hear your name called first overall, and there's often surprise associated with that, but there isn't going to be this time. What is that like? Is it a little bit of a surreal feeling to know that you're already a member of this organization, and it's kind of taking the drama out of the draft experience for you?
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy. I mean, signing the contract was obviously a pretty surreal moment. And me and my family couldn't be happier. And yeah, it's pretty crazy. Obviously, still watching the draft, seeing like lots of friends of mine get picked. It's going to be pretty cool experience for everyone. So I'm really looking forward to that tomorrow.
You've known for a little while that they planned on picking you, but what is it like now to know that you are officially a member of a WHL team?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's pretty crazy. It's surreal, obviously. Dreaming of this since you're 5 or 6, watching the dub. And obviously this is a big step in my hockey career, so I'm super thrilled. And it's definitely really surreal.
Oh, had my own mic muted. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Connor. I've got a question now from Peter Labardius for John Paddock. Peter, go ahead.
Connor, first of all, congratulations and welcome to the Western Hockey League. Can't wait to see you perform next season. John, this has been a massive decision for the league. This is, something I know you as a group of people don't take lightly. And I just want to ask you as much about Connor and his outstanding playing ability. A lot of this must have to do with just him as a person, his maturity level to allow him to compete against 20 and under people as early as next season.
Well, for sure. I mean, this is a process that really had nothing to do with the Western Hockey League and all to do with Hockey Canada. So they did many things, interviewing Connor and et cetera, and obviously watching him play. For me and for us as an organization, specifically probably Dale McMullen and myself, Connor is extremely mature. He's got a great family background. He's loves hockey as we all do, but he puts everything into it. As far as his playing and so forth, since he started playing. So he's so bought in, and I think that's a sign of maturity, and he knows where he wants to go with it.
John, if I can just follow up, what do you like best about his own skill set?
Well, there's nothing I don't like, that's for sure. You talk about a hockey player, you talk about different things like hockey sense and skating ability and, competitiveness, things that are important to all of us. But if I was to pick a skill set, it's pretty obvious when you see him play. Like, he shoots the puck like no other 14-year-old does, I'm sure, in the world. And so, his shot is a big part of the reason why he scores, but he needs teammates to play with him and teammates to, score goals themselves. So it's a combination of those offensive things, but he can really shoot the puck, clearly.
Perfect. Thanks, John. Thanks, Peter. Appreciate the question. We'll go back to Britton Gray. Britton, you've got another question here. Go ahead.
Hey, Connor, I'm just wondering what this whole, I guess it's been a month since you were granted the exceptional status. So what's this whole process been like leading into that and now knowing you're going first overall officially tomorrow?
Yeah, like when I found out, obviously it was crazy, and obviously pretty first few weeks of that were pretty busy for me, obviously hearing from the people and having to do stuff with that. Obviously couldn't be happier with that outcome though. And these past few days have been a dream come true, and getting to join such a great organization. And it's definitely been one of the best months of my life for sure.
And you answered this earlier, but the audio was cutting out then. So for some of us who haven't got a chance to see you play, what type of player is Connor Bedard, and what is there a need to improve on?
Yeah, I think there's always room to improve in every aspect of your game. So like I said, this summer's going to be huge training for me. And I'm going to try to improve everywhere as much as possible. And I think I'm a pretty good 200-foot center. I think in the offensive ends where I play the best. I think the game pretty well, and I'm a real hard worker. So yeah, that's kind of what I bring to the table, I think.
Perfect. Thanks, Connor. And thanks, Britton. We've got a question from Jonathan Guignard for Dave Struch. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Oh, hey, Dave. How's it going?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good, thank you. This may be a little too early to tell, but think where you're going to play Connor, how many minutes he's going to get, maybe who he's going to play with, or is it a little too early still?
Well, I think it's a lot too early, but I mean, I had an opportunity to speak with him about 3 weeks ago, and just the maturity level and seeing him play on the video as we all have, he's going to get lots of opportunity. I mean, he's going to get lots of opportunity to have a lot of success and make mistakes. We're a very professional team, and with these young guys, no matter what age they are, they get chances to fail and learn from their failures. So Connor's going to get every opportunity to play throughout the lineup, power play, penalty kill, and And it's exciting for us all, and it's we're excited for him too. He's coming into a great situation, great ownership group. We're very competitive staff and players. We've had a great opportunity to maintain the culture we built in the first 4 years. So as excited as we are in the organization, we're excited for Connor as well because he's coming into a great situation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Jonathan. We'll send it back to Derek Taylor. Derek, you've got another question? Go ahead.
Yeah, a question for Connor. Connor, do you have any anxiety about moving away from home?
I mean, I think the past few years, that's obviously what you have to do to play at the next level. So I think it's definitely going to be different. I'm not going to lie and say it's going to be easy, but I think the first few weeks will be definitely adjustment. But I think, I think I'll get used to it pretty easily, and I think my parents I'll see them a good amount. So I don't think it'll be too much different, but obviously it'll be a bit of a changing experience.
And you mentioned friends that you played with. This is your chance to stump for the Pats to draft buddies you know. So feel free to throw out some names.
Sorry, I didn't get that one.
I was gonna say, you mentioned some friends you played with. This is a chance to appeal to John Paddock to draft some people you know. So give me some talented players we should watch for in the draft.
I mean, there's obviously tons of guys. Every 05 that'll be drafted is definitely a real good player. I don't think I'll say anyone specifically, but obviously I got tons of friends. I'm just super excited to see their names be called, and I couldn't be happier for every single one of them that's gonna be drafted.
Cool. Thank you, Connor.
Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Derek. We'll go back to Greg Harder now. Go ahead, Greg.
Just for Connor. Connor, why is it that this is a place you want to play? Why are you so excited to become a member of the Pats?
Well, I mean, I haven't heard a negative thing. I mean, my agency is really has told me obviously just great things and great ownership. I hear the fans are unreal, and I just kind of like accountability level I think is really high, and I'm just really looking forward to that. And obviously such a experienced franchise, and I mean, I think everything about it has been like pretty positive. So I couldn't be happier, obviously.
Thanks. And second question for John. John, going back to when you were awarded the first overall pick, you didn't waste any time letting us know that this was the guy that you were going to draft, and now here presented with the opportunity to sign him before you even call his name. You didn't have to do those things, but why did you, and what does it say about this young guy that you did those things?
Well, clearly we think a lot of him. Clearly he was the number one pick in our eyes and mind. The signing is something that is welcomed by us and welcomed by the league. It's a great move for the Western Hockey League. And as I told you that day who we were taking, that's just because we felt that strongly, and fairly open about it. And to be open about it, probably about a month before that, I met with Connor and his family. We were to hold on to the pick we were taking. So it's no secret. So that's really why.
Thanks, guys.
Perfect. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, John. I've got another question here from Claire Hanna, and it's for John Paddock. Go ahead, Claire.
Hey, John. And this is actually a good follow-up question to that one, but back when you traded Jake Lecision and Nick Henry, it was a blockbuster trade for this first pick in 2020. Could you have ever anticipated that you'd be getting a player like Connor and that those sacrifices were worth it?
Well, yes. A lot has to go into it on the ice for us and other teams in the league. But even back then, 16, 17 months before the draft, there was 3 or 4 names being bandied that were, maybe exceptional players or may apply or were very, very good or we're going to play above their age group, etc. So that gets your attention. Two of them happen to reside in Saskatchewan, so it was pretty easy to see them once in a while. And Connor, I met his dad at the Pat Quinn tournament around Christmas time that year. And I actually told him why. I was watching that game that early, just in case. So we were aware of, just like we're aware now of the 06s, our scouting staff is, we were aware of the top 05 players, and that it was something that was a possibility for us.
And then my other question, John, is you have 2 more picks in the second round, and I think it's 3 in the fourth round. Do you think this draft has a lot of depth that you could add to your team?
Yeah, I think it's viewed as a very solid draft, pretty good at the top end, and solid throughout. So we're confident that we'll acquire some very good players. They won't all be players for the Pats probably in the end, but they're going to be pretty talented, and they'll be able to support Connor later in his career and early in theirs.
Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you, John. I've now got a question from Graham Kondo, and I believe it's for Connor. Go ahead, Graham.
Hi, Connor. Welcome to Regina. Just a quick question for you. What's one of your favorite memories of playing at the Bantam level?
I mean, yeah, last year. I mean, I played 2 years, obviously, playing up with North Van. I moved there for that 1 year, and obviously, it was a great year, and yeah, memories from that year. So I think we won a tournament that was pretty cool in there, and then obviously such a great year. Our team, it was one of the most fun years I've had. I think their team gelled so well, and I think we won that Delta Classic tournament. That was a real big one for us, and then tough end. We couldn't win playoffs that year, but yeah, it was one of the best years I've had for sure.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Graham. I've got a question from Jonathan Guignard. Go ahead,
Right.
Jonathan.
Yeah, Connor, because you did cut out the first time I asked you, you could just mind re-answering about expectations heading into this year, and if you feel like you can make an immediate impact on that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm just gonna work my hardest every practice, every day, every game. Obviously, I do think I can make an impact if I'm playing at my best. I think I could be a help to the team, and obviously, the main goal is to win. So I'm gonna obviously do whatever I can to help the team win.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Connor. We'll do one last call for questions here. I'll take 2 more questions, and then we're going to have to cut it off there. So I would just ask anybody with any last questions to raise your hand, and we'll get to them. All right, first up, I've got Derek Taylor here. Go ahead, Derek.
Connor, I don't know what the process is like to get exceptional status. Can you tell us the things you had to do and to go through?
Yeah, so I think early December or before December you apply, and then there's lots of guys that come watch your on ice proportion of it, and then they get a school, like they got they have like an interview with your teacher kind of, and then also with your coach, and then I had a interview and wrote like somewhat an essay to Hockey Canada, so that was basically about it. It was a really good process and really smooth everything, so it was pretty easy. I could mostly just go out and play.
What kind of things did they ask you in the interview?
It was a lot of like maturity level questions, I think, like stuff I do on the bench with my teammates and stuff like that, kind of. I mean, I don't think I can remember every question, obviously, but it was a lot of stuff to test my maturity, some school questions, some on-ice questions, off-ice questions, stuff like that.
Was it fun? Was it stressful? What was your reaction going through the process?
It was pretty enjoyable, actually. I think everything was really well done and professional, so I don't think for me there was too much stress at all. I could just play. My coach Steve Marr really handled it well and kind of let me just play and put me in lots of great opportunities, which is a big reason I was able to be granted this.
Perfect. Thanks, Connor. Thanks, Derek. Appreciate that. All right, we'll take one last question here, and then we'll end things off. And I'll just provide some closing details once we get through that. So, last question here. I've got Britton Gray. Go ahead, Britton.
Yeah, this one's for John. Obviously, there's a lot of excitement in Regina surrounding this pick. A lot of people are excited, hockey fans. In your time as a coach and GM professionally and in the juniors, have you ever had a prospect with this much excitement surrounding him?
Well, I think there's a big gap between junior, and this is certainly excitement like only half a dozen other players have done in Canada and junior hockey. So that is going to be in our city, in our organization. Situation in the world right now is definitely tempered that some. Probably the one for me that had the most ground speed initially and then continued on was coaching Timo Solani. We scored 76 goals. That was a year that would be hard to top, media attention wise for a player and a team.